Well, everybody, welcome tonight. Come on in. We're going to get started. We're excited and happy to be back in the home office. For those people that watched on yesterday, I appreciate the fact that you watched. I'm so sorry for the technical difficulties, but again, as I stated, I was up near Mackinac Island, and the reception was not too good. But we are going to get started tonight, and I am so excited for what we're going to read. I am so excited for what we're going to be talking about. Black books matter. And it's so very important for us to do and recognize culturally affirming books, to read them, to share with them. And so I am elated, very elated doing all of this. That is our commercial for our African American Children's Book Festival. We hope you have registered. If you have not registered, it's not too late. We want to make sure you do that. And if you need the information, it is scrolling at the bottom right now. Today is day number 11 of our culturally affirming books. And we want people to join in the conversation. So today is day number 11. We're going to be reading culturally affirming books for 31 days. So we have 20 days left. And we want you to come in. So do me a favor. If you're listening right now, please share. Could you please share? Share right now. So I'm going to encourage you to share. I'm writing a comment in the comment section. Please share right now if you can. Share this post to your page or to other people, or tell other people to get on. We're not going to be on long tonight. We are going to be reading an excerpt of Ruth and the Green Book. I would almost say many of you have never seen this book. I hadn't seen the book. And at the time when I purchased the book, I was a principal of an elementary school. I actually bought this book at the Smithsonian African American Museum in Washington, D.C. Or I either bought it at the bookstore at the Martin Luther King Monument there again in the plaza in DC. And so this is part of what I'm going to be reading. I was so ecstatic when I read it. Nope, you know what? I did get it from the museum because they had a display about the Green Book there. It was interactive. It was very interactive. They had a cut off part of a Cadillac, and it talked to you and it showed you the process that African Americans would have to go through for them to go anywhere north if they were traveling south, or when they were traveling south from state to state. It taught them the things that they had to do just to be safe. Wow. But it is history. And so again, I'm going to read just a little bit of a wonderful, wonderful book. I recommend it to any family if you want to teach your children, again, true African American history. All right. So again, please register if you have not registered down below. I would love feedback right now. So if you're watching, say hello. Hello, everybody. Glad to be here. We're not going to be with you long on a Saturday night. Not at all. And so we're going to read tonight Ruth and the Green Book. Before we do, though, I want to share the new promo that I have. Are you ready? Watch this.
Put your fist up.
Put your fist up.
Put your fist in the air.
Put your fist up.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Put your fist up. What we want, what we need, what we deserve. Freedom. Black power. Black power. Scream it loud.
Oh my, did you enjoy that? I know I did. I love that theme song is by my cousin. He's given me permission to be able to use it. And on it is two other of my cousins that they're doing the rap to it. And basically the words are freedom. And you can get your freedom. We want everybody to be able to understand that that's something that we are entitled to, that we should get. And one of the main things that if we want to change, and a lot of people are talking about how Black Lives Matter, and that systematic things. And one of the number one things that we have to do systematically is change the voice of education in schools. And I can contest to this because I have, or I can vouch for it, I have been in education for almost 30 years. And African American children have been left out. Their voice has not been heard, their history has not been told, and their intelligence has not been stimulated. And so that's what we're going to be talking about throughout the next 20 days as we get ready for our second annual African American Book Festival. So again, if you're out there listening and you want to interact, say hello to me. I'm going to go ahead and start reading Ruth and the Green Book. Beautiful illustrations. And the author of the book is Calvin Alexander Ramsey. And the illustrator is Floyd Cooper. And Floyd Cooper is a phenomenal illustrator. I have several of his books that he's illustrated. It was a big day in our house when Daddy drove up in our very own automobile, a 1952 Buick. It was the most beautiful color. Daddy calls it Sea Miss Green. He bought it for his new job, but first we planned to go on a trip to visit Grandma in Alabama. I was so excited to travel across the country. I packed my own bag, and Mama said I could take Brown Bear with me for company, even though I'm almost too old for him. We drove out of Chicago. It felt funny to see the neighborhood disappear, and then the streets, and then the buildings. I love all the green grass and hills and trees. Daddy told lots of stories, but when he was a boy in Alabama, he made us laugh. Eventually, we stopped and had a picnic that Mama had packed. She had been cooking all week to get ready for the trip. So if there's any children watching this or parents, share this with your children. They had to pack food. I wonder why. After driving a long time, we stopped at a station to fill up on gas. As Daddy was paying the station attendant, Mama asked for the key to the restroom. The man said we couldn't use the restrooms because they were for whites only. Mama and I had to go into the woods. I was embarrassed. But Mama said the people who should be ashamed of themselves were those service station people. I was tired when Daddy stopped the automobile. I asked Mama where were we, and she said we were going to spend the night in a real hotel. We watched Daddy talking to the man behind the desk. Daddy was smiling and pointing to us, but the man shook his head and turned his back. Daddy came back out and slammed the car door. He never slammed the door before. I knew he was mad. I wondered what happened, but I knew somehow it wasn't a good time to ask. Mama gave me a look and said, Ruth, keep quiet. So that's what I did. We kept on driving through the night. Mama took a turn so Daddy could sleep. I fell asleep with Brown Bear as my pillow. We must have pulled off the road in the middle of the night because when I woke up in the morning, we were all curled up in the car. I was stiff and hungry. Mama gave us cold biscuits and jam for breakfast. She said we should sing to cheer ourselves up. We sang a lot that day as we crossed the country. We had picnics at roadside stops for lunch and dinner because all the restaurants had signs in the window that said we couldn't eat there. It seemed like there were white only signs everywhere outside of our Chicago neighborhood. I felt homesick. I hugged Brown Bear close all day. When we crossed into Tennessee, Daddy said his friend Eddie lived close by. He was sure we could sleep there. Eddie was so happy to see us. He gave me a big hug and told me that he knew when I was real little. His wife Alice cooked us a warm meal and I ate too much. Daddy and Eddie used to play music in a band before they went off and fought in the war. They talked about how much they traveled a lot back then and how they always had a hard time finding places to rest and eat. Daddy shook his head and said he hoped that the war had changed things, but now he could see he was wrong. So they were veterans and they were still not treated right. That night, I went to sleep to the sound of Daddy and Eddie playing music together. Brown Bear and I were happy to sleep in a real bed with a real pillow. The next day, as we loaded the car. I heard Eddie talking quietly to Mom and Daddy. Eddie warned them about what was ahead, someone called Jim Crow. I heard Eddie tell them, however, bad as it was so far, it was only going to get worse for us, maybe even dangerous. And as we went further south, then Eddie saw me listening and he picked me up and told me not to worry. He said that I should look out for Esso service stations along the road because the people there would be nice to us. In the car, I asked Daddy, who was Jim Crow? And he explained that Jim Crow wasn't a who. It was a bunch of ugly laws forbidding blacks and whites from mixing in any way. I asked, why don't they want our business? Wasn't our money just the same? Wasn't our money just the same? It hurt my feelings to be so unwelcome. But Mama sighed and reminded me that my job that day was to look for SO Station. So I'm not going to read all of it. That's all I'm going to read. But there is a picture of this attendant in SO. He's holding a green book. Okay, maybe I'll go ahead and read this page. I spotted an SO station near the Georgia border and sang out for Daddy to stop. Daddy filled the car up and asked the man if he knew where we could sleep for the night. The man showed us a pamphlet called the Negro Motorist Green Book. He explained this book was started by postman Mr. Victor H. Green to help Black people who were traveling. It lists places and lots of stations where we would be welcome to eat, sleep, shop, get a haircut, and all kinds of other information besides. Right away, Daddy brought our very own copy for 75 cents. And so that's what the Green Book is. And so they use the Green Book to travel. So the rest of the story talks about their travel, talks about them looking in the Green Book. So Ruth learned about the Green Book. And again, you can read the rest of the story and figure out again, Floyd Cooper has beautiful, beautiful illustrations. And then in the back, there's a picture of an actual Green Book and then some facts about the Green Book. And as I was talking to my dad about this in this book, and I was so excited when I traveled there, he said, because my father is from Tennessee, and he said, yes, he had a Green Book at once upon a time, and other people talked about the Green Book. And so I've been trying to get my hands on one for my museum. So I'm going to keep looking out for that. So we hope you enjoyed it tonight. Again, I have some people out there watching. Say hello if you are. Good to have you tonight. Good to have you on. And we hope that you have joined us. We hope you have joined us and registered. So scrolling across the bottom, you can register. All right. And so I want to talk to you one more time about what you're going to be able to win. So I'm going to share the commercial one more time. I can't talk during the commercial, but I want you to see book bundle number 1, book bundle number 2 and book bundle number 3. And plus, we're giving single books out. So every hour, we're doing a big book giveaway. You cannot win unless you're registered. It doesn't cost anything to register. So again, down below, right there, scrolling, please, 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 go ahead and register. And I'm putting it again so that you have it. All right. African American Children's Book Festival. So register, register, register today. All right. Okay. So also, I want you to know the value. So it's over $500 worth of books that we're going to be giving away that day. That's not including any other donations from people, gifts that people want to do during the midst of the actual broadcast. And so Kingdom Influence and Ubuntu Press, they're giving away, hey Rosetta, they're giving away over $500 worth of books, but you have to be registered. So share this with your family and friends and everybody that wants to participate. It's a 3-hour, and so it is going to be September the 19th from 12 to 3 p.m. But it's going to be 3 hours ever. Again, who can use books right now at a time right now when the libraries are shut down, when many of the schools aren't open and children don't have access to the actual libraries? Again, we could do digital books, but I said this before, I'll say this again, books are my friends. And there's nothing like touching, holding, feeling, manipulating, using a book and having it in your hands. Again, that so that you can interact with it tactilely, that you again can use all your senses. You can see it, well, not taste it. You don't want to taste the book, but you can see it. You hear yourself talking, and again, even sometimes I'm not trying to be funny. I like to look at the book. I even like to smell, the book cover is sometimes a fresh book and it smells like it's fresh off of the printing press and everything. So wonderful, wonderful, great. So one more time, I'm going to show you what the books look like. It's at the end of our promo, and listen to our song by Courtney Steele. And on it is Courtney, Casanova, and Jacqueline. They're all my family, and it's a phenomenal, phenomenal song. Listen in.
Put your fist up.
Put your fist up.
Put your fist in the air.
Put your fist up.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Put your fist up. What we want, what we need, what we deserve. Freedom. Black power, scream it loud.
All right, so that's how we're going to do. Our books are going to give our children Black power. They need to understand the freedom, the opportunity they have to be able to read books. I just read to you a book again the other night where children did not have access to books. And so we want to get books in the hands of everyone. So today is day number 11 of our 31 days of culturally affirming books. We just read Ruth and the Green Book. We hope you enjoyed it. Please comment, please share, and please register. We want to have you there. Again, it's scrolling right down at the bottom. Don't miss it. During our hours, hour number 1, we have books that we're going to be giving away. And those books are called the first hour Dream It. And we're giving away 10 books. So there's 10 books in that book bundle. Hour number 2 is In Our Rise. And those books, there's 10 books in that book bundle. And then hour number 3, we actually gave you a bonus. There's an 11th book. And so those people that stay around to the end, it's going to be some magnificent stuff. So we have a live DJ. We're going to be having a great, great time. We have youth authors. You saw them in the promo. Phenomenal, phenomenal children doing some great and amazing things. We have, oh my God, a spoken word artist. She is only 10 years old. And when I say you don't want to miss that, she's dynamic. And then we have a guest panelist that's going to be talking about the importance of African American literature, especially in the Black community. But we need books, culturally affirming books, in every library across America. So no matter what ethnic group you are, you could use introducing your children to culturally affirming literature. That's one of the greatest ways to have some of the conversations we're talking about that we need to, because if you pick up your traditional history book, it's not in there. All right. And then we have an Ask the Author session. So we have some dynamic, phenomenal authors that's going to be coming on, and you get to ask them. Parents, if you're interested in your child being an author, Ubuntu Press is sponsoring children to teach them how to be an author or illustrator. And so, again, scrolling down at the bottom, please make sure you have the opportunity to come on. We definitely appreciate you. I see somebody said they shared it and will register. So thank you, Rosetta. We appreciate it. We want to see those grandbabies there. We appreciate you coming on tonight. We see a couple of our followers are hitting other people up and sharing with other people and telling them to log on in. Come on and do it. We want you to register. So HTTPS, again, to do stuff, but the backslash is bit.ly, and it's easy for you to remember. AACBF, African American Children's Book Festival. We hope to see you there. Join us tomorrow night for another book reading. Again, we won't be with you long, but it is going to be a dynamic read. So stay tuned to see what else we have in store for you. Have a great night, and thank you for coming on.